Okay, what we're doing today is we're finishing up a clutch replacement. The newer cars have automatic adjusting clutches, the older cars do not. This is where skill comes in. You've got to know when the clutch should release and should engage. So we're going to adjust the free play in the clutch pedal. Come around here. We're looking at when the clutch pedal releases the clutch and when it engages the clutch, the fine-tuning adjustment. So we'll start the engine and you'll see where the clutch engages. The free play is supposed to be about 1 inch, but I feel that it's not enough. It needs a little more, I think. A little more than 1 inch of free play because it engages really quickly. And for me as a driver, I want it to engage just a slight bit later. So here we go. So down here, we are in reverse. So this will back up toward you, but when it barely comes off, we'll start moving. That's too soon, in my opinion. So we'll adjust that so it engages later, right about there, instead of where it is. So when you push on the clutch, what you're actually doing is you're pushing on this with your foot through a pedal, which releases the clutch. It's right over here. Clutch release fork goes into the flywheel and clutch assembly. What we're doing is we're adjusting the pivot length here. So because we want it to release later, we need to adjust this rod here. Get this out of the way. We need to adjust this rod here to make it shorter. So when you push the pedal, it releases the clutch later. Instead of releasing the clutch here, we want it to release the clutch about here. And also engage the clutch about here instead of here. Better for driving, better for the clutch's life, and enjoyment of driving the clutch, in town especially. So we'll do that. Break loose. Now we'll take the rod here and spin it in. We'll go a full turn. See how that feels. I'm betting that'll be just about right. That's about a full turn. We'll cinch it down so it doesn't work itself loose any further. Tight quarters here. All right, we'll hook the spring back up. All right, now we'll get back in. We'll let the car down, get back in, and we'll try it again, see how it acts. All right, let's give it a test. All right, so now we're at the bottom here. Release point increased about double. Free play is increased about double. So as a final adjustment to this, we're just gonna remove the rod, cinch this nut down tight so we make sure it doesn't ever work loose, and then we'll put it back together and we'll be done. And that exhaust pipe is really hot. All right, take this out of the holder. Just enough to get a good bite on it. There we go. There. Spring helps keep the free play of all the antiquity of pivot points out of the equation of your feeling of the clutch pedal in your foot. This car is ready to drive.